Join us also today. This is the last art talk of this fifth edition of St.Moritz Art Masters. Hope you enjoyed the 10 days and hope to see you also the next year in 2013. Today it's a pleasure to announce four fabulous guests. First of all, the American artist Tom Sachs. The Miffy fountain is displayed in front of the Badruz Palace Hotel here in St. Moritz. And then Jeffrey Deitch, director of the Museum of Contemporary Art in Los Angeles, and also, of course, gallery owner. Luder from September 1st, 2009, he's the head of global marketing communication Mercedes-Benz passenger cars. And of course, Rainer Opoku, the founder and with Monty Shadow and curator of St. Moritz Art Masters since the real beginning. And Mercedes-Benz has established with Avant-Garde Diaries a creative platform to present topics of the time and society. And today will be a discussion between art and brands. Rainer,
Thank you very much, Giacomo. In first glance, people might think they're already dealing with something they know when they look at your work. But it's maybe because of the images you use that they look familiar to them, you know, but they see them in a more like do-it-yourself way done, or the way you execute them is totally different towards the real product. Let's say McDonald's or Prada or all this kind of brands. What is behind it? You know, the idea itself.
Well, the first thing for me always is that I take everything as being real. So when you say it's different from the real thing, it's real. It's just not authorized. And my inspiration comes from Canal Street, where my studio and Jeffrey's gallery was, which used to be the machinery district, and then it was overtaken by the place where you could buy fake Gucci sunglasses. And I realized you could buy real Gucci sunglasses or fake ones. They each had their benefits. When you lose the fake ones, you don't race around looking for them. And again, when I made Mondrian's, I thought that authenticity wasn't as important as actually having the thing. So for me, it's a way of studying each and every object. One project that is a mistake that I wasn't able to show it, but it was the recent project that we did called Nike Craft. And is that okay for me to get into that?
Absolutely, but that's why we're here, because this is a project I wanted to talk to you about. You're even wearing them now.
I'm wearing them. I've never asked, by the way, the question people always ask, do you have permission? Do people sue you? And I've never been sued, and I've never asked permission. I believe it's easier to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. And that's linked to sort of doing it yourself. If you don't have that Mondrian or you don't have that Mercedes, go and make it. And you've seen people make their own homemade Mercedes from scratch in China and Jamaica out of Toyotas and stuff, because it's an aspirational product, and it's a way of having it. So I did a project with Nike this year, and it's called Nike Craft, and this is the shoe. I'm sorry it's so disgusting, but I've been product testing it for months, and I'm going to wear it until it fails. The goal here was to make an heirloom product that was a sustainable, and not in that greenwashing kind of way, but just in that you could repair it and that it was durable, because before you recycle something, you want to reuse it, and before you reuse it, you want it to be durable. And I think that's one of the things that you get when something's more expensive sometimes, that it lasts. So we did a jacket and a bag. I'm actually wearing all of them here, but they're over in the corner.
It's a whole line.
But it's a line, and you can look at it at NikeCraft.com. And it was interesting because it was an art project that was a collaboration between the brand, and I don't think anyone made money on it. They certainly didn't, and it certainly cost me a tremendous amount of opportunity to make it. It was very, very complex, but it was a true collaboration in that it has my values and theirs, and the artist values and the values of a big international company, or it couldn't be more different. But we were able to make the project both. It was 50-50, Nike and Sachs, and I think they're happy with it and I'm happy, which is an amazing accomplishment, because you couldn't think of two things that were more at odds. So yeah.
Oh, well, I think something that I learned from artists, you never have regrets. So Tom, I don't think you ever have a regret about starting a body of work that didn't turn out as well as you thought, right?
Only things I didn't do.
Yes, yes. So, exactly. So if I never took this opportunity to try working in the public sector in a museum, that I would regret. But I learned a lot from artists. Take risks, to try something that people say can't really be done.
So we saw what kind of a role a brand is playing as an enabler for projects a museum, in this case, is doing, or in Tom's case, the inspirational side. Now we want to hear a little bit from a brand itself, how a project like this, Avant-Garde Diaries, is coming along, how is it planned, what does it mean for the brand to do this kind of things, and we would like to hear something from you, Lida, about that.
So yes, as a brand, it's always tough to not doing a typical sponsorship. So normally, some events we get approached from people and we can sponsor, we pay our money, we get our logo presented, using our cars, that's a normal sponsorship. We do a lot in sport, for example. But then we found out that we miss a certain kind of target group which we are not relevant. And we thought, how can we get in touch with these people as a brand? And if you can, do it in a very dialogue-oriented way. But it's not easy as a big brand like Mercedes doing that in a dialogue-oriented way, because mostly the first interest is money. And we did not found a project out in the world which we can contribute to, and then we thought probably we have to do it by our own. And then we thought, how can we get in contact with these avant-garde people, can start a dialogue, but not as a brand itself, more as an enabler. And then this was the birth of Avant-Garde Diaries. So we thought we have to create an interview magazine one by one, in a one-by-one situation. So one person recommends another person which he think it's avant-garde. And we do it as a video magazine online, theavantgardediaries.com. So each week there's another dialogue between one and another personality. And this is what we did in the last year. So I think there are 90 talks, which you can see as a diary online. And each and every year we try to do an event, an analog event, like we did together with you, and you as one of an artist in a big environment. Last year in the United States, and we link it to a new model range. So last year or next year there will be a new car coming out, a small 4-door coupe, and the show car, which our design department created, was part of this show. So this is a little bit the idea. Next year there will be another show car and another curator, which then probably makes something which we did together with you in LA.
Well, contemporary art has changed tremendously. So when I got involved in the 1970s, it was a much smaller, closed system, very inside. A lot of people said that the entire art world, Europe, America, small number of people around, numbered only a few thousand people. That was it. And a lot of us, we knew personally almost everyone in the world of contemporary art. But in the past decade in particular, it's been a transformation, and contemporary art has become one of the most interesting and dynamic platforms in all of culture. So there are thousands of people who are interested. If you go to one of the big art fairs like the Basel Art Fair, you see so many people. We had 50,000 people come to the AV Club. So this is an amazing platform, and I don't think there's anything else like it. It's a little like rock music was in the 1960s, that talents coming from different directions, from fashion, from engineering, political activists. The art world is the platform that can accommodate all this. You know, art is very interesting that it can encompass all of this. So it's become a very interesting arena for brands and for a new kind of merchandising. And we also have, of course, an environment where it used to be, in most countries in America, every single person watched one of 3 television networks. And that was it. Everybody watched the same thing. And if you wanted to advertise, you just picked one of the popular shows, everybody would see it. Now, as you know, people get their television through their computer, they do it on their own time. And so old-fashioned advertising is not as effective as it once was. And so companies like Mercedes are looking for new platforms. And art presents tremendous possibilities, and tremendous possibilities for collaboration, where it's not just advertising for Mercedes, but it's contributing to culture and helping the development of progressive visual art.
So I thank you all for coming, and especially our 3 panel persons. So thank you very much, and we continue. We go on with the talks and also with the St. Moritz Art Masters, and I hope to see you all again next year here. Thank you.